Hare Krishna. Welcome to another exciting episode of Bhagavatam Bites. The bites have reduced to nibbles, and we're just hoping they don't reduce to famine. So we're just trying to pick them up. We're pretty steady for a while, but we're going to get back to being steady again.
Yeah.
So here we go with the old Bhagavatam Bites.
This is Canto 3, Chapter 29, Text 24.
Creeping closer and closer to the end of this canto. Not that our goal is to finish a canto, but wonderful pastime of Lord Kapila Dev conversing with his mother, Devahuti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
That third one, it goes up, doesn't it?
No, I go up, but it doesn't go like 8, 2 octaves up or something. Anyway, that was glorious. I'm sorry I can't keep up.
Alright, text 24. My dear mother, even if he worships with proper rituals and paraphernalia, a person who is ignorant of my presence in all living entities never pleases me by the worship of my deities in the temple.
Sounds like one we read before.
Is it?
I don't know, it's the one I had marked also.
Yeah, they're very similar verses.
Okay.
Purport. There are 64 different prescriptions for worship of the deity in the temple. There are many items offered to the deity, some valuable and some less valuable. It is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. If a devotee offers me a small flower, a leaf, some water, or a little fruit, I will accept it. The real purpose is to exhibit one's loving devotion to the Lord. The offerings themselves are secondary. If one has not developed loving devotion to the Lord and simply offers many kinds of foodstuffs, fruits and flowers without real devotion, the offering will not be accepted by the Lord. We cannot bribe the personality of Godhead. He is so great that our bribery has no value, nor has he any scarcity. Since he is full in himself, what can we offer him? Everything is produced by him. We simply offer to show our love and gratitude to the Lord. So, it's a nice point in the verse that a person who is ignorant of my presence in all living entities, he doesn't please me with the worship of my deity form. It's a very powerful as a form of pujari. Well, pujari, it is, you see all walks of life, and it's really fascinating. Like, sometimes it can be those who are the closest to the deity form may be the furthest.
Yeah, I often tell about this nice lady who lives up north, and she works the cameras and has been doing that now for, goodness gracious, must be over 12 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe 13, 14, 15 years. She runs the cameras from Mangalarti until after Mangalarti and leaves them set for Japa time. And she's been doing that every day for many years. And there were times when I would be offering Mangalarti to their lordships, and I would think about her up in Scotland offering, or like doing this service, so that she, of course, herself gets to have darshan, but she runs the cameras in such a way that she makes sure that anyone who's tuning in at that time to the London channel on Mayapur TV gets good darshan, and she moves the cameras around. She, she's very attentive. And sometimes I would think, I'm standing here on the altar, waving the whatever, the incense, the ghee wick, the cloth, the chamara, and I'm just so close to the deities. But then I would think someone all the way up in Scotland is just dedicated every day to having your darshan and serving the devotees, and I would think, I'm so close yet so far away, and she's so far away yet so close. So physical proximity. And Prabhupada gave this nice example also. He mentions about the king, and he said that a bug may be crawling on the king or near the king, but just because he's so close doesn't make that bug royalty or mean that that bug is actually close to the king. Because closeness is not about proximity. It's about a state of consciousness. It's about a matter of the heart, actually. So, yeah, nice point.
Yeah. And also in someone, like it says here, that if you offer Krishna something, foodstuffs, fruits, flowers, without real devotion, he doesn't accept it. Because he's a person, and if you think about it, when someone's doing something on a formal basis, or they just have to, or their parents said go and do this, or they don't really want you to be there. They may go through the motions and you go through the motions, but there's no loving exchange of feelings. It's just formal. So Krishna's a person, so he can also see someone's just coming in and dropping some fruit on, as an offering, or flowers. I've got to do this because I've got to keep, because it's God, or because you better hear my prayers when I'm telling you I want a new BMW, or upgrade my spouse, or whatever. So he's a person, and he don't have to accept it.
Yeah, Prabhupada uses the term bribe. Try to bribe the Lord into helping us. I thought it was interesting, Prabhupada, when he translates the Bhagavad Gita verse, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, which is, if one offers me Patram, a leaf, Pushpam, flower, Patram Pushpam, Phalam, fruit, or Toyam, water. Prabhupada here says, if he offers me a small flower or a little fruit, he emphasizes the size. But just because it says a small flower, a little fruit, doesn't mean that if you can offer more, you shouldn't. And that's another thing. It's not that we just offer a little something. If you have the capacity to offer, and the example is the chipmunk and Hanuman, who were building the bridge to Lanka with Lord Ram. And because it's coming up to Diwali time, it's good to talk about Lord Ram also. Remember Lord Ram, lots of Ram Leela at this time of year. And Hanuman said to this little chipmunk, get out of the way. What are you doing? You're throwing little pebbles in. It's, useless. Look at my huge boulders, And chipmunk was hurt. It's not nice when someone compares like that. And Lord Ram came and said, Hanuman, what are you doing, That you shouldn't deride him. He's offering in accordance with his capacity. And you're offering according to your capacity. He can't lift heavy boulders and you can. So you should offer heavy boulders and not offer pebbles. And he should offer pebbles because he can't offer heavy boulders. So, and he said that the offerings are equal. So like that. Anyways, point. Okay, so now we'll read the next paragraph. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
This gratitude and love for God is exhibited by a pure devotee who knows that the Lord lives in every living entity. As such, temple worship necessarily includes distribution of prasad. It is not that one should create a temple in his private apartment or private room, offer something to the Lord, and then eat. Of course, that is better than simply cooking foodstuffs and eating without understanding one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. People who act in this manner are just like animals. Wow, okay. But the devotee who wants to elevate himself to the higher level of understanding must know that the Lord is present in every living entity. And as stated in the previous verse, one should be compassionate to other living entities. A devotee should worship the Supreme Lord, be friendly to persons who are on the same level, and be compassionate to the ignorant. One should exhibit his compassion for ignorant living entities by distributing prasad. Distribution of prasad to the ignorant masses of people is essential for persons who make offerings to the personality of Godhead. Wow, that's an interesting statement and section.
And why so?
Well, I think it's quite heavy.
But what bit? You talking about the whole paragraph?
Well, sorry, yeah, the bit that mentions that people who have a temple at home and just cook food to eat it are like animals. Because I'm sure a lot of people, well, hopefully a lot of people out there, maybe even watching this, have home altars or have home deities or have a sacred space where, of course, if you cook, part of the cooking is that you do the offering. But Prabhupada says here that we should be distributing prasad to the masses, and especially, he says, to the ignorant masses. So even, like yesterday, we had some really wonderful devotees come around and we cooked and offered them prasad. Now, I wouldn't want to call them part of the ignorant masses necessarily because they're devotees. So, but we didn't say, because in the 7th canto it says the grihastas, before they eat, they open the door and they say, Haribol, is anyone hungry out there? And then they can invite.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, well, maybe that means we're part of the ignorant masses.
I don't mind, but I couldn't do that.
So anyway, so that's why I said it's interesting because, it seems pretty, a bit heavy. But at the same time, Prabhupada is very much stressing the distribution of prasadam. Now there's still one more paragraph, so maybe he elaborates.
Alright, final paragraph. Real love and devotion is accepted by the Lord. Many valuable foodstuffs may be presented to a person, but if the person is not hungry, all such offerings are useless for him. Similarly, we may offer many valuable items to the deity, but if we have no real sense of devotion and no real sense of the Lord's presence everywhere, then we are lacking in devotional service. In such a state of ignorance, we cannot offer anything acceptable to the Lord. So the key point is devotion. It doesn't matter what you do and how you're interacting with the Lord. It doesn't have to be on the, it has to be deity worship. No, it could be anything, however you're connecting, but it should be with, feeling, devotion.
I guess I'm just thinking if Krishna is known as Bhava Grahi, he accepts the devotion of his devotees. And we understand that Krishna will accept even a flower, a leaf, some water. If it's offered with love. Now, I guess the point here is the distinction between offering something with love and offering it with devotion, and doing it either A, as a ritual, or maybe B, as a bribe, as Prabhupada mentions. So, because sometimes, of course, you may not really be in the mood of like I really love you, Krishna, and I'm offering this with such love and devotion, but at least you're cooking and making the offering to Krishna. And so sometimes we may perform things out of devotion, more in a mood of duty, rather than loving devotion, does that mean Krishna doesn't offer or doesn't accept that offering also? That makes sense?
Yes.
What do you think? You can put something in the comments below. Or if you have a verse that you'd like to cite to prove one thing or the other. Of course, here, Prabhupada says, real love and devotion is accepted by the Lord. Real love and devotion. I mean, I got a question. Do I really have love and devotion, if I'm offering something to Krishna? I mean, what is real love and devotion? Real means Shuddha Bhakti, it's like unadulterated, pure devotion for Krishna. Like, the whole time we're cooking, it's like, this is for you, Krishna, and what I'm cooking is what Krishna would like. It's like that. And meanwhile, you make some, Chinese soup or Chinese momos and offer it to Krishna. Maybe Krishna doesn't want momos. Maybe he doesn't want any Chinese soup. So is it for him? Are we trying to impress the people we're inviting over? Are we trying to make them? Are we trying to please that pleases the devotee? It's a little bit of a complicated thing. I like to pose these questions.
Because the devotional aspect is, what you just said is the fact that you paused and offered. I don't know if Krishna's into momos. I like momos, by the way. I made them yesterday, but but the fact is, there would have been a day where I would have, made them, eaten them. Damn, Bob's your uncle. But the fact you make them, put them on a plate, and that in itself is a separate plate just used by Krishna, put it in front of the deities and offer it. My understanding is that is what Krishna is seeing, that, okay, you put a pause there on your senses, you put a pause there on what will gratify you, you put a pause. And why did you put that pause? Because you offered it to me first.
Yeah. Sorry, you finished?
Well, it was a dramatic pause, but I'm done. Yeah. I was.
Sorry, don't interrupt my dramatic pause.
Right.
Yeah, it seems to imply that even if you make the offering and if it doesn't have love and devotion, you're kind of answering that just by pausing to do the offering, that's a sign of love and devotion. Yeah. But I mean, there's good, better, and best.
Yeah, and
perfect, more perfect, most perfect.
Yes, but better to. Yeah, but you got to make the first step. So that may not have been some serious, deep love and devotion that I exhibited when offering the momos, but it was on the path. Put it that way.
Yes, pure devotee in practice and pure devotee in perfection. Got you. Do you have time to read one more?
Yes, well, I don't know if you got a meeting.
All right, let's read one more.
Oh, no. It's just,
It's yours.
Alright, this is verse 25. Performing his prescribed duties, one should worship the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until one realizes my presence in his own heart and in the hearts of other living entities as well. Worship of the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is prescribed herewith even for persons who are simply discharging their prescribed duties. There are prescribed duties for the different social classes of men, the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, and the Shudras, and for the different ashrams, the Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. One should worship the deity of the Lord until one appreciates the presence of the Lord in every living entity. In other words, one should not be satisfied simply by discharging his duties properly. He must realize his relationship and the relationship of all other living entities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he does not understand this, and even though he discharges his prescribed duties properly, it is to be understood that he is simply laboring without profit. Wonderful.
Oh,
powerful.
Prabhupada seems to be stating kind of the opposite of what we're saying. Basically, that if you're not doing the offering in knowledge, conscious of your relationship to Krishna, then it's simply labor without profit.
Yes, okay. But in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that, Prabhupada explains that you know, these are the words of God, the Supreme Personality of God, and this is the truth, the way, and all. I don't know what a Christian prayer is.
The way, the truth, and the light. No one comes to God but through Jesus.
So, but he also says, which when I read it the first time, and the Bhagavad Gita in the introduction, I really liked it, because he said at least before you can get to that level and accept that, he says at least accept it logically, meaning at least theoretically. You know,
he says theoretically.
At least read it with that. So you may not, when you first read it, you get the book of the street or whatever. You're not going to be like, you may, but most people may not open it and be, oh my God, this is the absolute truth. This is God speaking. But at least have that in your mind that I'm reading this book and the protagonist, the main guy, is God. Even if you do that,
protagonist.
That means sorry. That means the main person, the main character.
Oh, okay.
So even if you accept that on a logical basis and read the Bhagavad Gita, it will do wonders for you as far as your reading is concerned. Just as if you read a novel and you accept, oh, that's the villain. Yeah, that's the damsel in distress. That's that. And that's how you get through that novel. That's how you're not constantly arguing with it. No, what you said, you just read it. You just accept the characters. So at least if you accept, I'm reading this book called Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna, the main guy, he's God. You know, and then when you hear his words in that mood of this, whatever he's saying is absolute on a theoretical level, because you're not there yet. Prabhupada says that in itself will do you good to get to the end, and for sure you'll be changed in some way.
Yeah, so in the beginning, for sure. But I guess the point is after, 25 years, is that still the beginning?
Yeah, no, then you got a problem.
Yeah, thanks. I got a problem. Okay, we're going to read the next paragraph because we're running short on time. The word swakarma krit in this verse is very significant. Swakarma krit is one who engages in discharging his prescribed duty. It is not that one who has become a devotee of the Lord or who engages in devotional service should give up his prescribed duties. No one should be lazy under the plea of devotional service. One has to execute devotional service according to his prescribed duties. Swakarma krit means that one should discharge the duties prescribed for him without neglect. So, if you discharge your duty without being conscious of your relationship with Krishna, it's useless labor. But if you become a devotee, it doesn't mean you don't have to perform your duty. You still have to perform your duty. You can't be lazy in the name of devotional service. So you still have to do your duty, but you do that duty as an offering to Krishna. So like that.
All right.
Alrighty. So, we're back in town. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. Please read the Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Please like.
Comment.
Question. Sorry. Ask question. Alright, let's try that again. Please like.
Comment.
Subscribe.
Share.
Okay.
we need to rehearse.
Alright. Hare Krishna,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Haribol.